Explanation time.
Explanation time?
Explanation.
Well,
Speaking English first.
we're building a 350 small block for that lovely Dodge Ram that's sitting over there.
Lovely Dodge Ram.
We had grabbed one that we thought would work.
That one.
Started draining the oil, and nothing but water came out. Now we're moving on to plan B, which is we're going to build a short block here with good parts that I have, and then transfer heads off of that one, because the heads look like they're good. And hopefully everything will work when we get it together. The only missing link right now is rod bearings. We're doing this kind of not real redneck style, but because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't hone cylinders or anything like that if they were doing it, but it's kind of a quick and dirty version of
like a no shits given sort of
building a small block. So
yeah.
I mean, we're cleaning it for the most part, but we're not getting it machine shop clean.
Yeah.
And then
Looks rainy out.
we'll make this our test meal.
See what happens.
See what happens when we put a random cam in it that I have. Don't know what it specs out at. See if we can get the fucker to run even. And we'll start playing with turbos and nitrous and
Turbos.
other such power adders, and it's just see how far we can push a stock 350 block before she blows up.
In other words, it'll be fun.
What I'm doing is I'm just getting prepped to put the crankshaft in. We went through and honed the block and cleaned it all last night. So now I'm just making sure any sealing areas on this rear main are clean, so when we put that together, we don't have an issue with any of that puking oil out. And we'll get a crank and throw her in once and see what happens. Crank that baby.
Hi.
And like I said, I keep going with
The crankshaft of doom approaches. Jesus.
It's so shiny.
It is, yeah.
Now we gotta clean off
Bearings.
bearings a little bit here.
They do look a little janky. I'm sure you could just throw them in there and they'd work fine.
Well, realistically, it'd probably be good enough. But
I mean,
it's one of those.
This is the experimental engine.
It's one of those things where you're torn between how much do I really want to clean it, and how much do I really want to let slide.
How much time do I want to spend rebuilding this engine again?
Again, right? Because of something simple.
Oily water instead of watery oil.
Apparently, sitting 10 years in a moisture-rich environment isn't actually good for it.
Is that the one out of that boat, or?
No, this is out of Dad's ice racer, actually.
Oh.
Right.
How did you guys find that?
I was sitting in Grandpa and Grandma's shop behind your car.
Oh.
There's another one out of his old pickup truck too, but
Okay.
that one's been sitting just as long, and he said there was something wrong with that
How the
one.
hell did you get it out of there?
Pulled your car out, pulled my truck out, went back in there with the tractor, and Dad made some homemade lift that goes off the 3-point, and it's just a long post that hooks up to the 3-point on the tractor, and then you can pick up the engine with the 3-point thumb.
Huh. Homemade
Actually,
cherry
worked pretty
picker.
fucking slick.
Homemade cherry picker.
Yeah, it was really
That's cool. How's my car look? Dusty as fuck.
Pretty. All you haters
Die.
and machine shop guys, look away right now. because I'm not using wood sanding paper 220 grit to clean the backside of these bearings.
Industry standard?
Approval rating just dropped.
A bunch of people just like hit the back button. Fuck this. So this is the one that's been sitting in the basement, right?
Yeah.
Since before I can remember.
Since before I can remember.
It's been down there for
Dad
fucking
said
ever.
when he worked at Dealers in Randolph, which is a place that used to reman engines, he got this engine block.
Oh.
When he remanned it.
Oh, okay.
They came in, they did something wrong with the way when they hooked up the transmission on it. And what it did is it pushed the crankshaft forward and wore out the thrust bearing here. And the thrust bearing wore out the flange that sits in this part on the crankshaft itself.
Okay.
And so he's got the crank, it needed to be welded and then returned. On the block's fine, he's got pistons and rods and all that shit, and they're all fine, it's just...
I just remember when I was like 12 playing Donkey Kong on frickin' Super Nintendo, this was still sitting down there.
Yeah. And so this block is a 350 small block that's 40 over, which my math's not going to be totally right, but that makes it like a 355 or something like that. So
Just a teeny bit more balls than a standard.
just a little bit. So maybe like 291 horse instead of 290 horse.
There we
Because
go.
when they machine a crankshaft, they'll do like 10, 20, 30 thousandths
Over?
oversized or undersized.
Okay.
So when they bore this hole, they'll go oversized. 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. Up to 60. And they'll do the same thing on the crankshaft. So when you order bearings, you have to know if it's been turned.
Yep.
My crankshaft's been turned 10 thousandths, so I need bearings that are actually thicker to make up for that difference. No, these aren't going to work at all. These must be 454 bearings, because these are not 350 bearings. Now, when you put bearings in, you want to put them in dry on the backside. Otherwise they have, theoretically, if there's oil back here, there's more likelihood for the bearing to spin in the hole, which is bad.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want to spin a bearing.
And then you leave the shit out of this side.
Just to get it going.
Because when you first turn an engine over, obviously you don't want it dry because there's no oil pressure yet.
Yeah.
Dry bearings are unhappy bearings.
I was going to say, if you turn it over dry, you just wreck all of your bearings, or?
You score the bearings right away. Even cranking it over by hand is enough sometimes to wreck them.
Oh.
That they're
That would
rendered
suck.
useless.
That'd be very unfortunate. Just rebuilt my engine, turned it over, and broke everything again.
Yeah.
Dad's back. I lied.
Good. Find me some fucking bearings.
Yeah. I didn't know he took his Chevelle up there.
But my search for rod bearings was unsuccessful.
Oh. Gonna have to turn to the Googles.
Well, not quite yet. One of my buddies, his dad stockpiles Chevy shit.
Oh.
It's Jenkins.
Yeah. Yep.
So I called him and he's gonna wait till JT gets home and see if JT can look through his pile of stuff and find something for me.
Cool.
If he does, then he's gonna give me a call. If not, then we're back to next weekend or the weekend after till we can get parts
Searching
and
the
get
interwebs.
down here again and put her together. Well, they can have them for $20, I think, for a set.
Oh, that's not bad.
Right. This one looks okay, except for it got dropped or something right there.
Weeding out the
This one looks...
best of the worst.
I mean, it's worn, but you can't feel it with your fingernail. That's the big test. If you can feel it with your fingernail, then it's too deep to even mess with. Like that one, I can feel that with my fingernail.
And these are just tops, right?
Yeah, these are the caps. Cap bearings. I guess we're gonna go with that one and this one. Hope for the best.
Now you just need a main bearing.
That actually works.
Yeah, well, one that fits.
I'll have to go holler at the pops there and see what the fuck he says.
See if Dad has anything. Alright.
And we can at least get the crank put in this bitch tonight yet.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay.
So, we had lunch and we are back to the mystery of the main bearings.
The mysterious missing main man.
Yeah, well,
That's sometimes fast.
yeah. Dad just brought over a pair, or at the bottom end anyway, and it fit.
Yeah, so he's gonna do some more digging and see if he can come up with his mate.
And if they're in decent condition, we might be golden.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah, because waiting another 2 weeks would really suck.
Well, be another week for sure before I'm down here again. Well, 2 weeks actually, right?
Now, where's the on your cap in the back? Is that in the center?
Well, the cap's right here, yeah.
Okay, so it's in the center. Gotta clean them out. They're dirty. That fits better.
Yeah. Sweet.
They're 10s.
Woohoo!
Sweet.
They're not the same.
they are
They're
10 over.
so.
Oh, whatever.
And
And this end goes all, well, whatever.
that's on the cap. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
yeah, but these fit in there. They snapped in there good.
Yeah.
So,
You just pick the best of the combinations there.
all right.
The least jankiest ones. And these are
Their main caps.
caps.
Just going through and
Clean them off.
clean them off dust. Checking them to make sure there's not surface rust where the bearings or the cap mating surfaces are.
Anything that prevents a good seal.
Yeah, just to make sure that when they get torqued down, they torque down square and they torque down solid.
And the engine doesn't come apart when you try to give her balls.
I think,
Mind you of last night?
no, this was it last night.
And done.
Okay, guess not.
Good thing we have a box of freaking brake clean. And absolutely no regard for the environment. Yeah. Now we just lost everybody that drives a Prius.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, oh darn is right. I think they're gonna give a shit about a 350.
We were really concerned about those people.
Yeah. I mean, I'm eco-conscious and all, but those guys are the worst fucking people, I swear.
I'm aware of my environment. I just don't get shit.
And thus came about global warming. Also, remember everyone, brake clean is good for cleaning your hands.
Unless you have a cut, in which case it hurts a lot.
Yay, harsh chemicals. Sure, it'll do no damage. Just a little slight twitch every once in a while.
It's amazing.
Boom. Toit makes you toiga.
Sweet. Super sweet.
Dad's trying to get the radio to work, but he doesn't realize that I have the battery for the camera plugged in,
Aw.
charging. And whenever you're charging something, it messes with it. And I'm pretty sure that's what's going on there.
Yeah, you're gonna be pissed.
Maybe I should go over there and unplug
Maybe you should.
Just bring it over here and see what happens. Human hammer.
Worked. That's all that matters.
Yeah, whatever. So it's just a rubber seal?
Yep, this is your main seal on the rear main.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this is a two-piece, and it's not bad, but the one-piece seal that actually bolts on the back.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Seals better than.
A little bit of a Tighter bond.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna goop the shit out of this.
Lube time.
Hopefully that's my...
Rage Against the Machine time.
Hello?
Commercial break while Sam takes a phone call from a friend.
What are you gonna do?
No
You
luck
said
on
to
the
build an
friend
engine
front.
on Labor Day weekend, so...
Yeah. It's a 3-day weekend. It makes perfect sense. What the is that, by the way?
Prelude.
Mayonnaise?
Oh, it's a luber plate.
Okay.
It's This is what you want to use before you put your engine together. So as you're working on it, and you're bound to spin it over a little bit here
Yeah,
and there.
yep. So it's like basically your oil before you have oil.
Yep.
Okay. It just like looks so much like mayonnaise. It's like, what the hell are you doing? It's like the birth of an engine
It's getting there.
with some crazy fucking crankshaft that we have no clue.
Well, it's just a stock GM crankshaft.
Oh, okay.
The
Nothing
camshaft's
too-
the one that I don't know
Cams.
what it is.
Those are the mystery.
That's the mystery one.
The next mystery. This is like the mystery engine. Just like all sorts of weird shit. Throw it in there.
It wasn't for those meddling kids.
Yeah. Would have worked if we weren't so fucking stupid.
I need to clean bolts and get some. You want to go grab some sealant?
From RTV?
stuff. If he has high temp, that'd be great.
Okay, I don't know where he's got it, but I'll go look.
I need a little bit of that. Just know if you spit on the tip, it goes in every time.
It's actually a good point. Be surprised how often I've used that little tidbit of wisdom. Probably not much.
Effective amount of sealant is lacking.
We ain't got shit.
Luckily, that's about all I need. So
Yeah. The dab will do you.
Yep.
It's like super glue or something, I'm sure. There's a lesson to be learned here somewhere. That seal's already... Oh, okay. Yep. I just wanted to double check. Put it on there, bolt it down, then be like, ah, crap. Now you learn how to tweak nipples. Use both hands.
When the block gets machined, you have to put parts back where they came from, because what happens is
They get worn
they
in.
get, well, even when it's brand new bores, it's called married. When two parts get married together, the surfaces are mated in a way that if you change it around a little bit, it'll mess with your tolerances, and it'll mess enough. Sometimes, usually, more times than not, it'll mess the tolerances up enough that it'll mess up your bearings or your crankshaft or something like that.
Good to know.
So wherever you take the parts from, they have to go back there. So you mark them either with stamps, or these are just 3 chisel marks, means it's the third one back from the front. There's an arrow on the cap already that points towards the front,
Okay.
so you just make sure it goes back the way it came off. And that's all there is to it.
Cool.
Not too bad, you just got to make sure you keep that in mind when you're doing this.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals where before you pull it apart, you make sure stuff's marked, so
Yeah.
you don't put it all in a pail and go, oh shit, where'd you come from?
I have 10 bolts left over after putting it back together.
The one that doesn't have any marks is the 4th one back, because there's no need to put 4 marks on it when
Right.
all the other ones are marked.
Chronicle my stupidity. That way, future employers can just see how stupid I am and be like, no.
No.
Not even maybe.
Upon review, we found a candidate that is better fitted for the job.
Like, here's a hint. Don't upload stupid videos
Got
and
that.
attach your name to it.
Got that letter before.
Yeah, we're gonna move forward with other applicants. Am I part of the other?
On another candidate
No.
that's suitable. I've got one from Main Street Ingredients in Alaska.
Yeah.
They make all the additives for different foods and protein powders and shit like that.
Yeah.
And said, well, you have a very impressive resume. We decided to move on with a different applicant who's more suited for the job. I'm like,
Fuck you.
what I'm saying is, hey man, cool, but not cool enough.
Not quite what we're looking for, but it's nice, I guess.
Yeah, it's shiny.
Yeah.
Turns out it is a 5/8. Okay, that's what I want to know. Depends why that one's on the impact, I know.
I usually just grab like 4 wrenches at a time. It's just like, nope, not this one. Move up one. Nope, move down one.
I do that all the time. And then you grab all standard as fucking metric.
Yep. Yep. It's like, why does it feel like it would be in between the? Oh yeah.
You have a 9/16 and a half.
Yeah,
No?
I've always undone my oil pan bolts with the drain plug with a 9/16. Turns out it's like a 14 or something. I've always used 9/16.
16 is just a little bit bigger than 9/16, and 15 pretty much is a 9/16. So 14
Okay.
is just air smaller.
I think that's what it was. Is like it was a 15.
13 is.
I never noticed.
13 and a half are pretty much the same.
Okay.
13 I think is just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I never even noticed. And then Dad's like, "That's not a 9/16." So I was like, "Yeah, it is. That's what I've always used."
The whole car is metric. There's nothing
I
standard.
thought
on
so.
that car.
Yeah, because I remember like working on some of the engine parts, and it was always much. And I was like, "Wow, that's weird. They have a mix."
So, inners are supposed to go to 70, outers to 65. So what we're going to do is we're going to step it all to 50 first,
Okay, and then
make sure the crank still turns, and then we'll
tighten it up again.
step the rest of them up the rest of the way.
Yeah, I was lucky. I found an entire torque spreadsheet for like every part
Your car.
of yeah. So when I rebuild it, I know like what every single part goes to, which is nice.
So far, so good.
Mayonnaise lube is working. And there goes Uncle Joe with his broken frickin'
Broke ass
AC.
Impala.
Yeah, his broke ass Impala. Well, that's a whole nother adventure, but the AC fan still won't go on. Even though he replaced everything. Fan, the resistor, the actual control module.
Dad has somehow become a huge Brewers fan in his old age.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I noticed that maybe a year ago. All of a sudden it was all Brewers stuff. Somebody at work must be gung-ho about him and just rubbed off. I guess everybody needs a hobby, you know. I sit on my ass and play games, or scour the internet for just random shit. Yep. It's like, I wonder what I can learn today. Turns out, absolutely nothing.
Ashley gets paid to do that.
Yeah. Sort of.
I don't know, she gets paid pretty handsomely.
Does she?
$13 an hour.
Oh. Well, I mean, I kind of do, but we've got a lot of stuff going on right now, so we're making up for it. And then, of course, like, at work, we've got 3 or 4 projects just going on. They sent us a computer that sat in our cubicle for 2 weeks before we knew what it was for. Like, nobody said anything. They just dropped it off. But it turns out it's like a business critical machine, but it's been down for 3 months. I was like, it can't be that critical.
Yeah, no shit.
I guess there are users that like can't get onto certain systems because this one computer is down, and it's in an old domain that they're trying to get rid of anyway. So it's like, okay, bring this computer back up, then figure out how to get rid of it. It's like it's dead. Just get rid of it.
Right?
So maybe,
Yeah, probably.
or 20. Well, a long time ago. So. It's probably one of those things that they've now found out causes cancer on contact. So what was the mayonnaise in the holes for there?
Those are, flow of engine oil comes from your pump, and it automatically goes to your mains. Your mains are drilled through this area here to your rods, and these
Okay.
feed oil to your rods.
Alright.
So I just put a little in the holes, and we'll put some on the main bearings, so when you do fire the engine the first time, it'll push that little bit out.
Okay.
And also, this will just keep shit from crawling in there, and
Right, dust and
all of a
whatnot.
sudden you start it up and there's a fly in between the bearings.
I'm sure that's fine.
But it turns. It's torqued and it turns. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's awesome. And it looks
Really
like
good
it's not hard to turn either. Oh. Good.
So,
Success of a certain sort.
level.
Yeah, I think we're getting there, I guess. It's better than this janky rusted one.
And then you have to figure out this mess.
Yeah, which is the first, second, third.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy.
Because the two little thin ones go on either side of the oil control. But then there's a top ring and a bottom ring. And I don't know.
So now you just coat it down so it doesn't rust and stuff doesn't stick to it, or?
Surface rust is the biggest thing.
Okay.
It's not too much of an issue on like the counterweights and shit, but where the bearings go. The
Right.
cylinders, I want to make sure I get coated good.
Yeah.
Because I spent $100 on this thing to get it turned, so.
Oh. To make sure it was within specifications?
Yeah. And now that I've got clean bearings in there, the last thing I want to do is have to come back to
Get 'em
fix superficial
dirty,
stuff
yeah.
again, so.
And this is why I hold the camera and he does the work. This is your intake. 5 comments. You're a fucking retard. Yeah.
You, sir, are correct. No, camshaft in this other hole here,
Mm-hmm.
and then the lifters sit in the camshaft, and then the heads go on, and the intake comes over top of it. That there.
Yep.
And the reason this engine probably won't turn over is because I'm guessing 90% of those lifters are rusted into the lifter
Yeah,
bars.
probably.
And the fucker will not turn.
Whatever. Just for good measure.
This is why engines smoke a lot when they first start up.
Oh, that's that.
Garbage bag time.
Yay! Until next time, people of the interwebs.